We're talking all about gadgets here today. A company called iDevices, founder and CEO Chris Allen, thanks so much for being on, and Pete Gabriel, thanks so much. So you're going to tell us all about this. But first, I want to tell everybody, iDevices employs 70 people. Good for you, in Avon, Connecticut.
Yes.
How did you start this company?
It actually started with an idea in my backyard. So it's.
You're sitting there and thinking, I have an idea.
I have an idea. I was actually grilling in my backyard, and there was a wireless thermometer that I used to use that didn't connect to anything other than a secondary device. So it was two little devices that you walked around with, and it told you when your meat was ready. So I decided.
You couldn't tell by just cutting it open, right? You needed to.
Yeah, you know, they say that's the worst thing you can do if you really want to get the meat perfect. So no cutting the meat open, everybody. But so I looked at it and I said, this should really connect to my iPhone. I just bought an iPhone. And I said, this would be great if it connected to the iPhone, and it told me like the different types of meat and how hot it should be, and when it was done, and I could walk away and enjoy it and know that.
So you get the information on an app in your phone.
Exactly. So I went out and put the patent out. And
did you build the app?
I hired a company. I did not build the app. I can't write a line of code. I'm not an engineer, so I take no credit for any of that, but the app got rave reviews. Apple, actually, I cold emailed Apple, and they responded back and said they'd love to see the product come to market. And in 2010, we launched in Apple retail around the US in time for Thanksgiving.
So iGrill got bought by Weber.
Correct. Weber Stevens out of Chicago bought us in February.
You started in 2009, this company. It's a baby age company. 70 employees already. How did you do this? And we're going to get to Peter in just a second, but how did you build this company?
I mean, it was a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It was me, myself, and I in the beginning, and then as we built on to the product and we saw the opportunity, I really looked at how I could build a really stellar team around myself. Not being an engineer, I knew I needed engineers. I knew I needed software engineers, developers, industrial designers. And so today we sit up in Avon and we have a little mini campus and a little restaurant where everybody gets breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And we tried to create.
That's the Google way. Keep everybody
exactly.
in-house,
exactly.
Right?
So, I mean, we call it the Silicon Valley of the Farmington Valley.
I love that. All right, so how did you find Pete? And he's all of 26 years old, right?
Yeah.
And Pete, what do you do for the company?
I'm in charge of our distribution and our logistics, so inbound supply chain and outbound supply chain of our products.
How do you know all about that at 26 years old?
Baptism by fire, pretty
there you
much.
Go.
Chris hired me actually as IT, so I got brought in to kind of start with taking care of the computers and the network and all that fun stuff. And our CFO at the time was in charge of sales. He was kind of overtaken with the audit that we were first going through, and they said, hey, we need you to take over on the distribution and the sales side, and kind of stuck around ever since, luckily.
So you grew up with all these gadgets, and so do you think of yourself as an innovator and entrepreneur as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been incredible to see the company grow from where it's been and where we are today. And the knowledge that I've learned from being part of this company and seeing every aspect of it has definitely helped me grow in terms of my personal skills and my ability to be an entrepreneur moving forward.
iDevices, how'd you come up with the name? And
iPhone,
it's little I,
it's little I, big D.
Devices.
Yeah, and we actually have it trademarked, which is unique because then the trademark office supposedly is not allowing that to happen much anymore. But I had iGrill, so I figured if I was going to create a bunch of other devices, I would just call them iDevices, and it stuck. And people always ask us, does Apple want to sue you? Are they after you for that? And actually, we're really good partners of Apple's. We work with them closely. Most of the folks that work with me have been in the Apple, campus and met with a number of different engineers, and they love the name. So
you're making these devices to sell, and then obviously you sold iGrill to Weber, so that's good for you. Let's talk about what you brought here today.
Sure.
We're going to start with iThermostat.
Yep, it's the iDevices thermostat. So basically what we did is the thermostat has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth connectability. So it'll connect to your network at home. And because it's part of what's called Apple's HomeKit, it allows you to control it through your iPhone. So your iPhone, you can talk to Siri and say, hey Siri, turn down my temperature by 2 degrees, or set my temperature to 70 degrees. But what's really unique about all the products in totality is that they operate as a complete system. When you use our products or any product that works.
All these together?
Yep, or anybody's products that work with HomeKit, which is Apple's home automation protocol.
How much competition do you have in this world?
Huge. Yeah, it's a big competition. I mean, Pete's up against it every day when he's working sales. It is a big market, but there are very few companies that are doing it well. What we tout ourselves on is creating a quality product and then backing up with really great customer support and a really awesome app experience. So if you call our customer support, it's right there in Avon. The people work for us. They're employees, they're not outside this country, and they do above and beyond to make sure that you're happy and satisfied, to the point we've had some Facebook posts and things where our customer service have sent personal handwritten notes along
Who
with
does
it.
that anymore?
Yeah, right? And those are unique things that makes it different.
All right, let's go to the Switch, which is the second one.
Yeah, it's a smart plug. So essentially a smart plug that you can plug anything into. What it'll allow you to do is control that device. So you could say, Siri, turn on my lamp. Siri, turn on my fan. For me personally, I like to sleep with a fan at night. So when I say...
My daughter does too.
Yeah, I like the noise. But so I'll say, bedtime scene. And what happens in my home is all the lights will turn off, the doors can lock, the garage can close, and the temperature can go down, and then my fan will come on. And it happens with just saying to Siri, bedtime, and she does all the rest.
This is all getting scary to me, I think. All right, the third one is outdoor switch.
Outdoor switch is, when you look at like having a fountain in your yard, or if you have some of the tea lights that hang outside, and really around Christmas, like all the inflatables and everything else, it's kind of fun to play with your kids and say Santa scene, and you can have all the lights come on around the house and stuff turn on outside. So that allows you to plug in anything outdoors. And
you're not wasting energy either, because you can shut it off when you want to go into bed,
You can set timers, and it also tells you how much power you're using. So if you ever wondered how much those Christmas lights are burning your energy bill, you can see it in the app. It'll tell you how much wattage you're using.
Anything that it can't tell you at this point? I mean, you've seemed to have done a lot of things. You have the indoor, indoor switch, outdoor switch, socket. What is the socket?
So, the socket is essentially an Edison bulb. It's a replacement for any Edison bulb. You twist it right into any lamp, bedside lamp, table lamp. You can even use it in a hi-hat and put in any bulb you want, and it turns it into a smart bulb, so you can create scenes with it. So it also has notifications within it, so it has an LED ring, so it can do like night light mode where it's a very low light, or flash and strobe red in emergencies, fires.
Jump in here anytime. If he's not telling me anything, he should be telling me.
It's the CEO, he gets it down.
Well, that's okay. You can jump in. The wall outlet.
Yeah, so the wall outlet is kind of our next generation of the products, as we see it going into the wall. So all the products that you see up here, the indoor switch and the outdoor switch, are modular devices that you can plug in around the home. Well, these are for your home builders and people who are remodeling rooms. So they can actually build a product right into the wall. They don't have to worry about something sticking out from the wall and maybe looking not so attractive. The great feature about the wall outlet is that both outlets are actually controllable, so you'll be able to have two outlets where you're able to turn on and off lights, whether it's
separate of each other.
Exactly, separate of each other. So the indoor switch is a 1-to-1 ratio, whereas the in-wall outlet, you get two plugs to control whatever you've got plugged into it. And then we've also got the dimmer switch. So again, kind of the same thought process of building the products into the wall. Now you're able to control those maybe 8-bulb chandeliers that you have around your house, or your hi-hat lighting that's got a series of bulbs linked into it. Instead of buying a socket or a couple of switches, you can buy an in-wall light switch or dimmer and control all of those lights at once.
What haven't you built yet in this genre, if you will? What's still to come, or can you not say?
There's lots that we haven't built. We always have ideas. They try and control me and stop me from, getting too many things going. We have to be focused. So what we've done is we partnered with some great companies like Delta Faucets. So with them, we announced at CES that we're doing a leak detector that will launch late Q4 of this year. So basically, a small device that you can place next to your washer, dryer, under your toilet, and if there was ever a pipe to burst or start leaking, it would notify you.
It tells you on your phone.
It would notify you on your phone, and you can make the decision, if you're away from the home.
Your house is flooding.
Your house is flooding, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It won't take that long. You call your neighbor pretty quick, or 911, and have them break down the door, because it's a lot cheaper than water everywhere.
Is your company growing? How do you control the growth of a company?
I don't say you control it, you manage it. I think is really what I try and do. We look at efficiencies, despite the fact that we're only 70, we see inefficiencies already as we've grown so quickly, because in 2014 we were only 20. So from 2014 to 2016 we added, give or take 50 jobs. And with that type of rapid expansion, there's just necessary steps that you have to take to kind of step back, look at it, and figure out where efficiencies can be built in and what can we do better. If you're not constantly looking at that, you're going to fall down eventually.
Somebody who would like to work for you guys, what do they see on your campus? How do you, I read somewhere it's sort of like a 1950s diner, and you sit around and you talk about things.
Yeah, definitely.
Draw me an image of what this place looks like to work in.
I mean, number one, it's a open environment. Absolutely open. Nobody's got an office. Believe it or not, Chris actually shares a cubicle with one of our
Way to be one of
employees.
them.
So yeah, he's one of us, and nobody's got closed doors. I think the only people are the lawyers and the finance people, but we kind of keep them tucked away. But it's an open environment. People are encouraged to share their ideas. There's no stupid idea or bad idea. Obviously, the diner is great. We've got a chef on staff that cooks us breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and it's a couple bucks per meal. You can bring food home to your family. So
Beer on Fridays, I'm thinking, right?
We have beer 24/7. There's 6 beers on tap.
Wow.
And we have free
you
soda.
learned from Google and
Yeah,
Facebook.
we have free
and
soda,
everybody
free
else.
snacks, and everything. So,
How big do you think you're going to grow?
good question. If the market continues to grow at the rate that we're seeing it, I think there's a real possibility for us to be 120, 150 people over the next few years. It all depends, and we're trying to manage that growth because we don't want to necessarily just add people for the sake of adding people. It's got to be fiscally responsible.
How much is the state helping you?
The state's been great, actually. Connecticut Innovations has been a big supporter of ours, as has DECD. They invested in our company, CI invested in our company in 2 of our equity rounds. And they actually gave us, they did a seed round with us when we were 4 people. I think we were 4 or 5 people. Pete was one of the first that's still with us. So yeah.
At 26.
yeah, right. I'm one of the younger, but one of the longest tenured, and
That's amazing.
try to pull my weight. But
Did you ever think that you would be a founder of a company? Because you said you started out as doing some stock brokerage at a firm in Farmington, you said?
Yeah, A.J. Edwards, yeah.
You didn't go to college?
I did not go to college.
Tell-
I went to college. I left after a semester.
Because?
To be honest, I was bored. I get a lot of satisfaction out of doing. So I think everybody learns differently. So when you look at it from that perspective, I learn by doing and by being enveloped in it, and head down, get it done. And for me, there was enough relevancy to what I was learning in college while I was learning as to what I was going to use it for. So I got out.
Are we going to keep you in Connecticut?
Yeah, I have no intention. I've had opportunities to move and sell the company to companies that would have taken us far, far away, and we've turned those down. I have a family. I have 2 young children, or not young, but 13 and 14-year-old, and I'm here for the duration. I've been here for 39 years, so I'm not going anywhere.
That's music to a lot of people's ears.
Yeah.
All right, Chris and Pete, thanks so much for coming on and telling us about iDevices.
Thank you for
Continued
having us.
success.
Thank you very
you.
much. Appreciate it.
Made a trivial pursuit, spend one this in. Who's this girl I spend all night kissing? And if one was right here, then who else is missing? Got a little sidetracked if I'm a wishing to find the keys to the door, but it's also a metaphor. Things keep locked in the grocery store, but mine just to save time. Skip right ahead to the last ride. The harder we look, the less we can see. Don't you know that you need me?